Orientation at the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in Abuja. Sadiya Yakubu was there for Global Television.
Welcoming the ambassador, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, described the visit as a strategic move to deepen institutional collaboration between both nations. He stressed that Nigeria values its long-standing relationship with Saudi Arabia and remains committed to expanding cooperation among critical sectors. The minister disclosed that Nigeria has endorsed 3 key memorandum of understanding proposed by Saudi authorities to boost collaboration in media and communication. According to him, the agreements are expected to enhance professional exchanges, promote balanced information flow, and strengthen media diplomacy between the two countries.
The Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation is happy to announce that we have already put our signature to 3 MOUs that were proposed by the Saudi government.
Earlier, Ambassador Yusuf bin Mohammed Al-Balawi conveyed Saudi Arabia's readiness to strengthen collaboration with Nigeria in strategic sectors including the economy, security, media and political relations. He reaffirmed his country's commitment to supporting Nigerian pilgrims and revealed ongoing efforts to improve connectivity and cooperation for the benefit of citizens of both nations.
Also, I want to add something very important for the Muslim people here in Nigeria. We will continue to serve all Nigerian people who want to go Umrah and Hajj. I have a good news also. Maybe inshallah the Saudi Airlines will restart the flight from Jeddah to Abuja.
Nigeria and Saudi Arabia said they would continue to build on their shared values and mutual interest, with renewed commitment expected to translate into tangible gains for both countries. From Abuja, Sadiya Yakubu, Global Television News.
In another development, the federal government says effective communication is critical to the success of ongoing public service reforms, warning that lack of clarity could trigger resistance among citizens. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, stated this while receiving the Director General of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Danzuki Ibrahim Arabi, and his management team in Abuja. Again, Sadiya Yakubu reports.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, commended the Bureau's efforts in driving institutional reforms, highlighting the designation of public financial management as a major milestone that has improved transparency, reduced leakages, and strengthened accountability across MDAs. Idris emphasized the need for attitudinal change alongside structural reforms, noting that national orientation remains key to promoting patriotism and civic responsibility. He further disclosed plans to digitize Nigeria's archival system to preserve institutional memory, while calling for improved media and information literacy to tackle misinformation, an emerging threat for artificial intelligence.
As Minister of Information and National Orientation, we firmly believe that reform must not only be implemented, it must also be effectively communicated. Where reforms are not properly understood, it creates a big problem of understanding for people, and therefore the collaboration that we need to have between yourselves and this ministry is very, very important, so that Nigerians will understand that this is for the greater good of all of them.
Earlier, Director General of the Bureau, Danzuki Ibrahim Arabi, said the visit was to strengthen collaboration and accelerate reform communication. He outlined key reform priorities, including improved governance, digital financial systems, and increased citizen engagement. Arabi noted that digitization has helped eliminate ghost workers and improve payroll integrity, while urging MDAs to comply with the Freedom of Information Act through proactive disclosure.
To support the work of information management at the federal level, our Bureau had run quite a number of capacity development programs for information officers, working with development partners, especially European Union, World Bank, the FCDO, which is the former DFID, to train government officials on how to manage information.
The federal government says it will sustain effort to ensure reforms are not only implemented but clearly understood, as transparency and public trust remains key to national development. From Abuja, Sadia Yakubu for Global Television News.
Organized labor in the Federal Public Service has issued a Friday deadline to the federal government demanding the immediate release of funds to settle 3 months of standing wage awards and other pending allowances owed to workers across ministries, departments, and agencies. The leadership of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council conveyed the ultimatum in a letter addressed to the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, warning that failure to meet the February 27, 2026 deadline would compel the 8 unions in the civil service to take decisive action. The unions accused the government of withholding funds meant for workers, alleging that relevant agencies were prepared to process payments once the Ministry of Finance released the required funds. Sustained training, capacity building, and enhanced safety programs for personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Orwell Onyesho, met the call during the agency's 2025 budget performance review and consideration of its 2026 budget proposal. National Assembly correspondent Anyete Patrick reports.
Presenting the agency's report, FRSC Court Marshal Shehu Mohammed disclosed that the commission generated over 4 billion naira in revenue in 2025 from fines, number plate registrations, and driver's license deductions. He also announced a proposed 2026 budget of 129 billion naira for the commission. He stressed that continuous professional development is essential to maintaining efficiency, discipline, and effective service delivery in road safety operations nationwide.
We have the internally generated revenue projection for 2026 to 2028, where we are expecting to generate 6.12 billion for 2020, where 6.12 billion was generated for 2025, and then we're expecting to generate almost the same amount for 2026.
The Senate committee commended the Commission for renewed professionalism and prompt response to road safety matters despite funding challenges, but reiterated the need for continuous training of officers in active service.
I want to, outside a purely arithmetical presentation here, like my colleagues here have said, your core mandate is very, very vital. If I get to some places, I find vehicles broken down, particularly on the road, for days, and I feel a little worried.
Now, appeal that you continue to train them. There's the need for continuous training, not continually, continuous, because they come out every day.
In a later development, the acting national coordinator of Savicom, Helen Lowell, lamented that the agency lacks sufficient statutory powers to enforce efficiency and accountability across government institutions. While presenting the agency's 2026 proposal of 965 million naira, she appealed to the National Assembly to pass legislation strengthening Savicom's mandate to demand compliance from ministries, departments, and agencies.
A lot of things we can't do now to the optimum because our bill has not been passed. We can only back, we can't buy, sir. So we appeal to this committee if they can assist us to ensure that that bill is passed.
The Senate also called for improved funding for the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, alongside Savicom's operations. The committee encouraged both agencies to sustain reforms and assured them of improved budgetary consideration to enhance institutional performance. Anyete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Southeast Development Commission, SEDC, says its initiative are strengthening unity and development confidence across the region. as it defends its proposed 140 billion naira budget for the 2026 fiscal year before the Senate. Presenting the proposal to the Senate committee, the Managing Director, Mark Okoye, said the increased stakeholder engagement has encouraged what it described as a shift towards development-focused cooperation in the Southeast. Again, Anita Patrick reports.
Okoye noted that recent consultations reflected broader participation across different groups, adding that the Commission remains committed to inclusive growth and economic revitalization in the region. He explained that the 140 billion naira proposal aligns with the 2026 budget circular from the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, stressing that the figure reflects the Commission's initial takeoff allocation following limited releases in the previous fiscal year.
There were about 14 known IPOB members in the hall who, prior to that event, what they were saying was no retreat, no surrender. Biafra land, we only want this. The same people have done posts after attending that event for 4 days. And the response is, this is the first time I had the opportunity to contribute my own ideas to the development of Southeast Nigeria.
However, members of the Senate committee raised concerns over allocations to consultancy services, workshops, and security-related expenditures, urging the Commission to prioritize infrastructure and other visible development projects.
You just got your money, and I'm surprised. I'm looking at the breakdown. I may not go into details, but all went into some things, projects that you can't even feel. I'm not talking about renting your offices and furniture, that is basic. But not about conference engagement, stakeholder engagement, taking a whopping sum of 460 million. If you must succeed, you must handle this commission as your private company. Manage every fund, since you know it's a scarce resources, as your personal fund.
The committee chairman, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, called for the Commission and stakeholders, noting that residents expect tangible results from the intervention agency.
You people should work together. You people should be as wise as my grandmother. Don't fight. Don't keep peace at all times. Be open to your fellow executive directors. Nobody here is giving you people pressure. The only pressure we are giving you, go and work for our people.
The SEDC is seeking legislative backing to ensure timely budget releases in 2026, aimed at enabling full implementation of its programs and regional development agenda. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
History has been made in Abuja as Nigeria's police hierarchy formally changed hands, with the 23rd Indigenous Acting Inspector General of Police assuming command and renewing calls for reforms, professionalism, and improved internal security. Samuel Odi reports.
The colorful handover ceremony held at the force headquarters in Abuja marked the official transfer of authority from the outgoing Inspector General of Police to his successor, Olatunji Disu, who now becomes the 23rd indigenous IGP in the history of Nigerian police force. Senior police officers, government officials, security chiefs, and invited dignitaries witnessed the symbolic signing of handover documents and inspection of guard. With his inaugural remarks, IGP Disu pledged to build on existing reforms while strengthening intelligence-led policing, community engagement, and officers' welfare. He assured Nigerians of a renewed commitment to tackling insecurity across the country and restoring public confidence in the force. The new police boss emphasized professionalism, discipline, and collaboration with other security agencies as key pillar of his administration.
My tenure will therefore be built on 3 clear commitments: professionalism, modernism, accountability, integrity, community partnership, and trust. To all officers, I will demand the best from you, because the people who serve deserve nothing less. Integrity, compassion, courage, these are not optional qualities, they are the job. But I make this promise in return. I will fight for your welfare, your dignity, and the conditions you need to serve effectively.
In his farewell address, the outgoing IGP Kayode Egbetokun expressed gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the opportunity to serve and thanked officers and men of the force for their support during his tenure. He noted that policing in Nigeria requires collective responsibility and urged continued loyalty to the institution and the nation.
Targeted operations during this period disrupted organized criminal kidnapping networks, curtailed violent criminal syndicates, improved coordinated response capacity, and restored operational confidence in previously underserved communities.
The ceremony concluded with a formal salute and the lowering and hoisting of the Inspector General's flag, symbolizing a seamless transition of leadership. The new Inspector General of Police now faces immediate tasks of consolidating reforms and confronting persisting security challenges across the country. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. News Express continues after this weather forecast with business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us.
Glad you could join us. Let's take a look at the weather outlook for Thursday. We're still seeing dust in suspension across much part of the country, but conditions are set to improve gradually, so visibility should get better as the day unfolds. Up north and across the north-central belt, expect moderate dust haze with partly cloudy skies and a generally hazy atmosphere across the inland cities of the south. It's one of those days where the sun may be out, but the air won't be perfectly clear. The coastal areas will start off with mostly cloudy conditions during the morning hours. But as we head into the afternoon, parts of Cross River and Akwa Ibom could see isolated thunderstorms. So keep an eye on the skies if you are in those areas. And that wraps up the forecast. Plan smart, move smart, and as always, stay weather aware. I am Akani Samarda, and thank you for watching.
Welcome back. Business. President Bola Tinubu has approved a fresh one-year extension of the ban on the export of raw shea nuts. The renewed directive was disclosed in an official statement issued by the president's spokesman, Bayo Onanuga. Onanuga stated that the ban takes effect from February 26, 2026 to February 25, 2027. Adding that the ban shows the federal government's determination to strengthen domestic value addition and reposition Nigeria's shea industry for higher export earnings through processed products. Also, the federal government says it is strengthening policy and regulatory framework in the solid minerals sector to attract global investment and improve Nigeria's competitiveness in mining. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Farouk Yabo, stated this during a stakeholders workshop aimed at assessing Nigeria's compliance with the African Mineral Governance Framework in Abuja. He said the engagement served as an integration platform for Nigeria as it sought stronger participation in continental and global mining ecosystems. Let's go to the foreign scene now. United States Justice Department has announced the arrest of a former Air Force One fighter pilot who allegedly trained Chinese military personnel without authorization. The department in a statement said Gerald Brown, age 65, was arrested in Indiana after having recently returned to the United States from China, where he had been since December of 2023. Gerald is accused of having conspired with foreign nationals to provide combat aircraft training to pilots in the Chinese Air Force without a required license from the United States State Department. We go to sports now. Team Edo States have maintained dominance in the ongoing second edition of the Niger Delta Games with 50 gold, 30 silver, and 22 bronze. The team medal haul comes from all events, with athletes going beyond their limits to cement the team's place on the medal table. In swimming, Edo's athletes broke a 24-year medal drought, delivering a series of remarkable podium finishes. As Global Television News Express comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening bilateral ties with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through enhanced cooperation in media, communication, economy, and security. In business, President Bola Tinubu has approved a fresh one-year extension of the ban on the export of raw shea nuts. On the foreign scene, United States Justice Department has announced the arrest of a former Air Force fighter pilot who allegedly trained Chinese military personnel without authorization. And in sports, Team Edo State have maintained dominance in the ongoing second edition of the Niger Delta Games with 50 gold, 30 silver, and 22 bronze medals. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly do follow us across our social media platforms now showing on your screen, and please use Global TVNG to give us a follow. Thank you so much. My name is Ubong Osoro.